Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Horror Room. I'm Travis Bruce, and today I'm doing another indie horror spotlight. I have with us today a director who just came off his first award. I mean, I just had my first, Horror Room awards, and his movie just won Best Horror Comedy, and that is Bloody Frickin' Mary. I got my man here today, Chad Hendricks. Chad, welcome to the Horror Room, my friend.
Thanks, Travis. It's a blessing, man. I mean, after watching a few of the other interviews, to be in there with those murder size folks and alike, I'll take the awards all day, man. It's a beautiful thing.
Oh man, listen, your movie is so much fun. By the way, it's streaming right now free on Tubi, so definitely check it out. So tell my audience who hasn't seen it yet, tell them a little bit about Bloody Freaking Mary.
Bloody frickin' Mary. Yeah, the urban legend. Don't say old girl's name three times in a mirror, or that's your ass. So
Yeah.
some four best friends throw a slumber party and just get too tired of playing Uno and Pokino and they end up in a mirror talking shit and of course the fellas got to show up late to the game, but that's their ass, man. It was an idea that I just had been sitting on for years, and last year just stumbled over it and then went back and modernized it and pieced it all together. And it's just cool how it ended up being put out this year like that. So
Sweet man. I'm sorry, it's a pretty diverse cast, but it's definitely an urban horror movie. It definitely has an urban feel to it. Now, one thing I hope I'm not giving anything away, man, but who the hell fucks their girl's best friend in her fucking house? Who the fuck does that? Chad?
in her parents' bedroom, right? I mean, that's just
Who the
shady
fuck
shit.
does that?
That's Bob. You got Ricky, you got Ronnie, Bobby, Ricky, and Mike. Four out of the five from New Edition and shit.
And I'm a huge New Edition fan, so I caught right on that, man. I caught that, man. I'm a huge New Edition fan.
Yeah, it was just one of those. I had Bobby one day, and I said, "Damn, I need three other male characters' names," and it just kind of rolled off. And so Bobby's he's just that jock, cocky prick that for me growing up was always the dude in the '80s. All the movies, growing up watching, the blonde-haired guy from Karate Kid. He was a dick even in Back to School with Rodney Dangerfield. So I mean,
Hmm.
there's just something about the guy you love to hate, because boy, when he gets it in the end, it's a beautiful thing. So
And I mean, every one of us has, if we were not, had the fucking Bobby in our fucking high school. He was the good looking jock who was a complete asshole, but for some reason, chicks still fucking loved him.
yeah, he's the guy that peaks at 18. He
Yes.
spends the next 50 years of his life just knowing he tapped out at 18. But I'm running around as a virgin in high school, and this guy's lining them up out the back door and shit. So it's yeah. And I found a great actor and all that really, Joshua Newkirk and all is really new to the acting game, and for him to step in and especially, in the end, I don't want to give away his ending as much, but really I told him, this is your Denzel moment, man. You got to put your foot in this shit. And he carries that scene, and just the most quiet, mellow dude. And then, you get him with his shirt off and around some good looking chicks, and shit, all bets are off.
so so how did you find your cast? Did you have people already in mind, or did you do a casting call?
I did both. Anaya Thomas and Gwen Henderson that play Mitzi and Powder. They were two that I'd worked with once before each, and I just loved them. I just thought they really good-looking people that really have great personality that can carry a movie. And everyone else was auditions, So the majority of the cast I found on my first audition, and luckily found the rest and all. in a couple of film groups here in Jacksonville on Facebook and things of that sort. So, but it is a beautiful, diverse group. I mean, this is my 13th feature film in like 23 years. And so I mainly do all urban cast films. I grew up just a huge Dolomite fan, Eddie Murphy, Pryor, just loved all of everything Norman Lear and his writers ever spit out with Sanford and Son, All in the Family, Maude. It's just the good times. So, I mean, I grew up on What's Happening. And so I just love campy shit talk, trying to be slick with dialogue. And this time we just went a little more diverse, but today's America, light skinned is still, black, and light skinned is still Latino. So you don't
Yep.
know. I mean, the beauty of Biggie is I was like, oh, straight up white girl. No, she's Latino. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So now Chi-Chi's easier to figure out. She's Latino, but she put, her one of her first acting gigs, and she put an accent on top of it and shit too. And so, and with Powder, I mean, you got Powder and Biggie. They both really sing in real life, so they can sing their asses off. Mitzi's can rap. Chi-Chi writes scripts, so it's just crazy, man. I just didn't want to lose any impact on the urban thing when it got to Tubi, because anybody that knows Tubi, it is a huge black cinema going on over there, and the audience is gobbling up storylines and movies and watching them over and over. And you just didn't want to write something clever and cool and have way too many white folks in it, and then
Yeah.
your ass can't flip your money and go make another film. So, I'm glad you called it urban, right? I'm glad.
Yeah. So I have a question. Are people when people watch your movies, are they shocked and they find out who who the director is? Are they shocked that you're a white guy?
Yeah. I learned it early in the game. I made a movie that's inside inside of Bloody Frickin' Mary. It's called Cracker Jacked, and it was my second film. And it went nationwide, straight to video, which meant it went to Blockbuster back in 2003 when it came out. So it was
Wow.
a $7,000 movie that made us 37.5, and I split it with the cast and everything. But it was the crazy thing was, even with the internet back then, you would get I got an email from a white supremacist group saying that they were offended that how racist it was against white folks. And I couldn't stop
Wow.
laughing because they didn't know that I was just some white boy who wrote and directed the damn thing. Now, mind you, there were black fans of the film that said I was racist towards black folks too. So I was like, well, shit, maybe it's just equal opportunity, racism. But like I said, I just grew up on, if it's funny, it's fucking funny, man. The Three Stooges and Little Rascals and shit. Now Chappelle, and it's like, if you don't dig it, turn the fucking channel, man. It's
Yep.
really easy. There's a lot of content out there now that people can find something they like. I mean, hell, all of the I get off on the super bads and Porkies and just shit, anything National Lampoon. I mean, it's just absurd, man. If it's funny, it's funny. No matter who wrote it, right?
It is, man. And one thing too, I should always say is like, I grew up in the 80s. I was born in the early 80s, grew up in the majority in the 80s, and I watched, I was a huge horror fan back then. Horror movies have always meant to be offensive to everybody, disabled people, women, blacks, gays. It offended everyone, right? And I'm like, why is it now in the 2000s like horror movies do not want to offend people anymore? But that's the basis of horror, is to offend.
Yeah, Freddy Krueger offended everybody and their mama. I mean, it just
Yes.
it's it's really a weird thing, and all of I think my generation fucked it up for everybody. We raised a lot of kids. I never had kids, but my generation raised a lot of kids on the notion of be nice to everyone. If you can't be nice, you're gonna go sit in timeout. And I'm a '70s baby, '70s '80s, so we just got our ass spanked and we learned from it. You treat people nice, we get your ass whipped. It was simple.
Hmm.
Go peek out and go pick out a switch and shit. Grandma's gonna put some lines on the back of your legs because you just couldn't play well with your cousin. So
Yeah.
um, I I don't get it, man. But I think if people who are creative are still being scared or start getting scared, then we've lost entertainment completely. It's one thing for people to bitch and complain and be offended. It's another thing to acquiesce and just go, okay, fuck it, I'm gonna make a Disney horror movie. So
Yeah.
and then all the horror fans will just quit watching your shit and go back to the old school stuff, because it's cutting
Yeah.
edge. And so but they end up being classics in the end, man. If people are offended by John Hughes, I mean, those are the
Yeah.
things. Those are the classics. Now I'm watching Uncle Buck during Thanksgiving. I'm like, oh shit, I forgot he said that, or
Yes.
damn, 16 Candles was really that good and that cold blooded. Long Duck Dong, are you shitting me? So
Yes.
but I get offended by my own shit sometimes, my old stuff, and I have to go, shut the fuck up, Chad, and just
Yeah, it
watch
is.
your shit and enjoy that you were brave enough at 32 to write, a silly ass joke like that. I mean,
Yeah.
I've got seven of my films are on Tubi TV, and one of them is Insane in the Brain. It's a '70s Afro zombie.
Oh.
So they're in polyester and zombies are coming out of the ground trying to go get head or brains, more
Yeah.
brain. So,
Love it.
we really trying to do reality in a film? Isn't
Uh-huh.
this shit to be fiction and over the top? So, but I'm with you that I've never made it big. So I wouldn't. I don't know if I was be ready to answer the question of why do you think as a white dude you should be allowed to write the black experience? And there's no right answer for that shit. It's just the human experience. And if a certain faction of the planet enjoys the jokes, then cool. If they don't, they'll
Mhm.
move on. Obviously, you enjoyed the movie enough to give it an award and everything, and so I'm
Yes.
just excited and appreciative that you even want to give me an opportunity to speak to your audience and everything. So it's
Most definitely.
crazy. It's just a good time, man. We're just being
Listen.
creative. A lot of grown ass people doing some play shit on the weekend for maybe some Publix chicken and some Red
Yes.
Bulls, and so it's just a good time.
I would say anytime someone says, "Oh my goodness, this white guy is making he's profiting off of black culture or whatever in the movie," and I'm like on TV, I'm like, do you like? Do people know that Maverick Entertainment is a distributor for like 80% of black movies on Tubi,
Mm-hmm.
and it's owned
Doug
by
is
an
the
old and it's owned
Doug
by an
Schleifer.
old, yeah, so old white man owns it. So that means he's making majority of the money off of black movies. Like,
Yeah, at the
and he's
very
giving
least,
them,
he's giving them, because that's the weird thing. I've distributed with him before, and that's who I did Cracker Jack's distribution with in '03, and I've told him plenty of times. I said, dude, you validated a dream that I didn't know I had. I didn't know I made films. I started making films when I was 30, 31 years old. So for his company to validate my dream by even thinking it was noteworthy enough to put it on the shelves of Blockbuster in between the Stallones and the Schwarzeneggers of the world. That's the glass half full. Glass half empty is someone going, here's a white guy trying to profit off of it. It's like, oh shit, none of us are Elvis, none of us are Eminem. We just, you know, if you're gonna make it equal opportunity across the board, somebody white's gonna slip through the crack, and hell, it just I don't know the right answer, man. It's just if you write a silly joke. I mean, I'm older than you, so I'm going, okay. Well, Travis, you ever heard of Run DMC or Flash and the Furious
Yes.
Five or Sugar Hill Gang? You know what I mean? But
Hmm.
that is the music that I was drawn to when I was 10, 11, 12 years old, and so I've been listening to hip hops for 40 something years. And I believe it warped my fragile little mind. So what can
Well, one of the things about this movie too, and I don't know if you watched my recent interviews, I was saying, when it comes to horror, especially mainstream horror, it is a cookie cutter cast. You know what I mean? It is all good looking white cast, and they might toss a biracial girl into the movie, right? But like horror movies back in the day, you said you have a black guy, you have a guy in a wheelchair, you have you would have a plus size woman, you would have all of that. In your movie, you did have a plus size woman.
Yeah, and she's hot. She's a good looking chick. She's got more personality than 90% of the skinny chicks on the planet. She's talented. She rolls the best weed. She had leaves the size of from 6 foot leaf and roll 5 6 days and all the. I'd be like, all right, Whitney, I need to pay you for X amount of blunts in this scene because it's in the scene. So I'm paying her to smoke her own weed. So, but no, that's been the pleasant surprise is some of an interview at Spooky Empire in October. A guy had mentioned, hey, you got a plus size woman, a good looking girl and all on the poster and shit. And I'm just, sure, we all like the Charlie's Angels, man. We all go, oh, fuck, who are we going to choose from? Farrah Fawcett or Jacqueline Smith, but when you put these four chicks side by side, it really makes for, you're like, damn, this is like a pack of now laters. I don't know which one on what day I would love to get down with. And the beauty, none of them want to get down with my old ass anyway. So.
But it's real though. I mean, it's real. Like the women in this movie are women that you would see living next door. You know what I mean? They're attractive women, but they're normal attractive women. And like I was just talking about Scream 6. I was like, they were at a university, at Columbia University, and everybody there was white and good looking. No one was in a wheelchair. There was no ugly person walking around. There was no big person walking around. Like everybody was like perfect, and that's how horror movies are now. And I'm like, but horror movies used to be so diverse. Like everybody got killed, everybody got fucked. It was, but now it's like this platform. You got to have one gay character, you got to have one biracial character, and then everybody else is cookie cutter white.
Yeah, I mean, we were just a crazy group of 15 actors. My special effects chick, Cynthia Roy, just did such a killer job of just slicing and dicing everybody. And, good buddy of mine, gave me the cheap price on the location because that was the whole premise of like Hollywood goes, what's the cheapest way to make a movie? Well, shit, you put X amount of good looking people in one location and kill them off one by one, Friday the 13th style and shit.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was really a lot of the premise for me because the script ended up being only like 46 pages, which is absurd. A minute a page is a minute on stage. But luckily with horror, you can slow it down and the chase scenes are a little gratuitous and you stretch the shit out of it into a 74-minute feature film. But it's, I was just writing dick jokes, man. I mean, if you don't
That's
like
what it was.
10 minutes in, then it's gonna be a long hour and 14 minutes and shit.
And I must say, I love dick joke humor, so that's why I found this one. I mean, it is definitely the best horror comedy, indie horror comedy of 2023 because there's, I mean, yes, you get your gore in there, you get a little bit of tits and ass, which is always great, but you get your stoner dick jokes,
Yeah, and they're coming from chicks. That's what's
and
the
they're coming
crazy.
for chicks. Yes,
Like the illiterate and shit like that.
yes.
Those things. Those are just the randomest lines. I mean, I go up when I write. I don't go down. My first script, I'd drink a 40 and wait for the magic, and it took me like 7 months to write the thing. And so my second one, it took me 2 weeks to write because I was on some new shit called Red Bull. This is like back in '02, so
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, well, damn, I'm kind of clever when I'm sober. Imagine if I'm yacked up on caffeine. And so that's just the beauty of it, is if it's just an over the top joke and everything, shit, anybody can let them fly, so it's weird. I wasn't gonna put as many white folks in the film that ended up in there. To be honest, it was just some really talented people who showed up and auditioned, like Mike, who Clayton Miller plays the white guy, Mike, the stoner. He
Mm-hmm.
auditioned with long hair, and then when he gets to the read through, he's got short hair. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing, homie? The stoner in the movie. He's like, oh shit, my bad. No big deal. I'm just giving you shit. No big deal, But it's such a weird thing with horror. Is sometimes you kind of get scared with horror. Like 3 or 4 of us lost our dads like before we started filming. Like it was
Fuck.
where we were like, are we saying the name way too many fucking times on the
Yeah.
set? The guy that was going to play the dad and all passed away before he got to be in the
Oh
movie.
damn.
Had him on, like he's on the T-shirt of the guy that plays the dad. If you look at the
Mm-hmm.
beginning of the movie, you'll see a guy named Rynell on the dad's T-shirt, and on he was going to play the dad. So it's scary shit. I lost my old man the November before we started filming this year,
Wow.
November, and so then Holly, who plays Bloody Mary, lost her dad a couple weeks later. Josh, who plays Bobby, lost his like a week after that. So we were all just a bunch of sad people going into 2023 needing something and all creative to keep us busy, something to lighten the fucking mood, and some of the actresses started saying, oh, your dad's got his hands on this project. I was like, y'all fuckers trying to make me cry, man. We trying,
Yeah.
so, but such a sweet cast, and we shot the movie in 10 days, and it
Wow.
yeah, we were hauling ass, and it took me a good 400 hours of editing, to piece it all together. So that's probably a good 2 or 3 months of editing. But once we got it to the finish line, man, it's just been a crazy 2023. It was just crazy that we were able to get it to indie rights for distribution, and Spooky Empire Film Festival and all selected us and all, and then we were able to sneak in Tubi, by November. So it's only been about a month or so that we've been out there, and it's all it's all me just rubbing two sticks together, man. I'm
Yeah.
doing promo, and people, the girl who told you to reach out and all. I mean, those are
Mm-hmm.
just blessings, man. Those are just sheer luck of the draw that somebody saw it and knew you and was like, hey, you might want to interview this dude, or at least check out the movie and stuff. So those are just blessings, man, that you can't, you know, you can't count on those. Those are just magic,
Yes.
by getting up and doing the work, So it's
Mhm.
a great ride this year.
Yes. By the way, a shout out to Alice. I do have a lot of scouts out there, so like if they see something good, they recommend me. They're like, "Oh, you need to interview this person," because I mean, I try to look out for indie movies and are coming out, but it's impossible to hit them all. So like, and thank God, I have other filmmakers and scouts out there that like, I found you. I found a great movie. So shout out to Alice on that
Yeah,
one.
thank you, Alice. I'm hoping that she's one of many women that might have been just like, oh shit, this is a movie based around younger women. And the crazy shit is, I just like schoolgirl outfits. I always have. It's always been a cool little fetish thing of like, oh shit, I went to public school, so I never got to get down with any chick with a
Me
skirt.
either. I didn't. Me either.
So I had them in front of my old high school I went to and all here in town, and just to insinuate. So when people go, "How dare you have these 30-something or 20-something-year-old actors playing?" I'm like, I never told you they were in school, high school. I didn't say shit. I just had them smoking a J in front of a high school. You all decided that they were high school chicks. So.
All right, so I got a question. I have a question. When it comes to horror movies always have been centered around teenagers, right? But and you grew up on horror, and you live on a Nightmare on Elm Street and so forth. They never ever get they never ever get characters who look like high schoolers. They look like they always get actors and actresses that look like they have a job. You know what I mean? Like a career going on.
Yeah.
Like, is it hard to find 19, 18, 19, 20 year olds to?
Without looking creepy or just a dirty old guy. Yeah, shit. It's what they always say, don't ever put animals or kids in your movies because they're just a pain in the ass, and you'd have to deal with the parents and shit like that. And I just I don't know why does Johnny Depp look older in Elm Street than he does on 21 Jump Street and shit.
I
I
know.
mean, those are the things
I
of
mean,
like,
Kevin Bacon. I mean, Kevin Bacon looked like he had a mortgage in Friday the 13th.
yeah. I mean, didn't he do like? Wasn't he in like Animal House, and then like 5 years
Yeah,
later or 3 years later, like holy shit? But it's weird like that. I think it's just boils down to experience. I think a lot of people want to be able to just have somebody that's really fucking good, or if they see somebody that fits what they wrote, then damn it, that's who they want. Because sure, the lead, and most of those girls, two of the girls are moms, for God's sake. I can't do shit about that. You know what I mean? They just have kids at a young age. It is what it is. So,
yeah.
but am I really gonna tell Gwen, who played Powder, no, you can't be, you can't play Powder and all because of your age, or that you're a great singer and there's no way you could possibly be a great actress too. And then she gets on the set and kills. I
hmm
mean, shit, I've gotten more praise on the the cast that I selected than a lot of stuff, and I'm like, well, they're cool people, but did you read the script? The script's pretty fucking dope, man. Come on, man, give
Yeah,
me a little love.
yeah.
Shit, you did see the blood effects, right? This chick
But the act,
really cut the shit out of everybody.
but the acting is pretty good for indie horror level. You know what I mean? It's pretty damn good. It didn't seem like I watch enough. Listen, that's all I do all day for my job is watch indie horror movies, and I'm saying there's a good 50% of them where it looks like somebody's reading off a teleprompter. It's like, "Hello there. Oh my goodness, is what is that noise? Oh my, it's like whoa." But that's something. But you don't judge necessarily because it is indie horror. But every once in a while, when you see an indie horror movie and and you can tell that the people are natural actors or actresses. Like they didn't just pick them up from a strip club or somewhere and says, "Hey, this is your line." It actually shocks me. I'm like, wow, okay, the acting is pretty decent. I mean, it's just not Hollywood level, but it is great for indie horror. You know what I mean? On indie horror level, and that's something with your movie. Like the characters are hilarious. The characters are real.
Yeah.
I don't know if it felt like to me that they weren't reading a script; they were like kind of improvising or like saying what they want to say, and like I just felt like each one of these characters, this is who they really are in real life, which it might not be, but they did a great job presenting that.
Yeah, the crazy thing, like say Anaya who plays Mitzi, she I had to apologize to her when we finished filming for the way I was treating her, because I was treating her like she was a child, like because her character, I mean, if we're gonna give anything away, but her character is, a virgin, if I'm gonna give away
Mhm.
that part. And so I said, you know what? I'm sorry for, the way I was acting on set, like, treating her like she was really a child when she's like 25, So it's kind of, they were just really good actors and were in pocket, and we read the scripts over a few times. Most of them came prepared and already knew their lines. And I, the if somebody, I take it as a compliment if somebody goes, "Oh, well, damn, they don't sound like they actually are doing lines. They sound like they're freestyling." It's like, well,
Yeah,
I'll take that all day, because when they're giving me 99% of what I wrote, they just said the word at the beginning at the end instead of the front, and but it's still the same way I wrote it, and I'll take that, man. That's cool, because you don't
yeah.
really just want to be writing, "How are you doing today?" I don't know. Oh shit! Look over your shoulder. She's gonna. You
but you
really.
know what I. But you know what I
So
mean with 50% of indie horror movies. That's how it looks and sounds. It's like
yeah.
there's something right in front of them, and they're literally reading it from word from word.
Yeah. And there's Hollywood boo boo like that too from back in the day, where you go, holy shit. So we're holding Friday the 13th up as like, the originator or something. And then you go back and you're like, Kevin Bacon's the only one that we even know his name. And hell, he died early in the game and shit,
Yeah,
It's, horror is the one beautiful genre that's really forgiving. They're just like,
it is.
well, we're going to suspend belief. We're going to take into account that the budget ain't shit, and we just want to be entertained for an hour and a half. We hope to see some titties. If
Yeah,
not, maybe at least lose the bra on something,
yep,
and just the killing creative and shit. So
yep.
that's what's so cool about the horror genre. I had forgot that horror comedy was really a genre, because I was like, oh shit, this might just be a full blown comedy and we're going to get lost in the mix. So
Yeah,
luckily,
this is.
my Blood Effects chick said that. She's like, I read the script and it was a comedy. I saw at the premiere and it's a horror flick. I'm like, well, that's the music helping it. That's, just getting really creative editing wise when you don't get everything that you should have gotten when you were filming. You really have
Mhm.
to try some shit, slow some footage down, speed it up, use footage that you normally wouldn't want to use, like say, I mean, I wear glasses now, my Dollar Tree glasses, so I have to keep shit on a tripod. My 2020 went out the window a few years
Mhm.
ago, and so when shit's blurry, you don't want to use that footage, but if you
Yeah,
can use, on a drop frame here or there to get a point across about something bloody or a transition or some shit, you've got to, man. You've got to dirty it up. And also, we're all trying to have perfection with 4K, but then the distributors want it in 1080. And then by the time it gets to Tubi, it's 720, so it can be streamed. So
wow.
we're all really placating the shit out. We're just masturbating is what we're doing. When people spend 20 grand on a red camera and then the shit's size 720 when you're watching it on your phone, you know? So it's just, it's silly, man.
Jeez, man. Okay, without giving anything away with the ending, is there going to be a sequel?
You know, I thought I'd shot my wad. Like I'd used every mirror in the house type of thing to do a sequel. And Holly, who plays Bloody Mary, was like, "Oh, well, X, Y, and Z are still alive in the movie. There's going to be a sequel, right?" And I'd just laugh at her and be like, "She's just have another mixed drink at the premiere, Holly. It's cool. This way." But I messed around about a week ago and wrote the first scene to the sequel, but I don't know if I have it. It would have to go on this crazy tangent. At the very least, her parents would have to sell the house. There's too many dead people in that house. There would just be simple things that you would have to do to, black folks want to get the fuck out of that house.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
But what would be the what would be the name of the sequel, Trav? I don't know. I mean, it can't just be Bloody Frickin' Deuce or some shit like
That is true. That is true.
It's got to be catchy, So the sequel always sucks, because the origin.
Yeah.
You don't say, "Hey, Friday 2 is better than the first." Shit,
Actually, I'm not a fan of the original Friday the 13th. I think every movie after that is better than the original. And I used to like the original, and I think, but the older I've gotten, I can't watch that shit anymore. It's too drawn out and boring for me.
It is slow. I saw it at a drive-in when I was like 10. 1 and 2 back to back at a drive-in. And boy, at the end of 1, when he jumps out of the water, my aunt screamed from in the car, and we're on like little beach chairs and all next to her at the drive-in, and we fell off the chairs and shit. It was scary as shit. And then the old boy put the ice pick in her on the second one.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the beauty of Friday the 13th is it laid the foundation of, so if you always have at least the main character, someone surviving the first one, and then they die in the second one type of shit, then it's easier for people to tie those two together, and then you can create a whole new storyline with another 5, 10, 15 characters and shit, sort of like Friday the 13th was doing. So I don't know, man. I've never done a sequel before, but if
I have an idea. I have an idea for a sequel. I'll tell you off camera. I have an idea.
I hate to be like straight about. Let's put it this way. I'll be brass tacks with you.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say it cost about 15 grand to make Bloody Mary, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's not talking about sweat equity, the 400 hours of me editing. I didn't get paid to produce, direct, run camera, and edit, none of that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So of course the budget would have been at least double that. So let's imagine Tubi makes that back. Then it might make sense to go and do a sequel. But if that first quarter of Tubi and all in 6 months, I'm taking a loss. Oh man, there is no way in hell I would want to be like, yeah, the second one's the one that's going to help me break even, So
I have a question. So how does that work with Tubi? Let's say if Bloody Freaking Mary blows it out of fucking water, like that movie Sloppy Seconds. Did you hear about that one on Tubi?
Yeah,
I actually missed it.
I haven't seen it. I saw the first 5 minutes.
They actually took it down. They actually took it down, like because of a dog scene, apparently. But
right.
So I actually missed it. But let's say if it blows out of the water, like that movie got like something ridiculous, like 100 million views or something in like 6 months, right? Crazy for Tubi, a Tubi movie. Does Tubi come to you if your movie is a hit and it's a success and it's making them tons of money? Do they come to you and say, "Hey, make us a sequel or make a sequel"?
No, no. I have a distributor anyway, so Tubi has their own originals, but then they have mainly distributors that all the filmmakers have to go through. So as much as it's still, you wish there weren't gatekeepers, there really are, because there are companies like a Maverick and Indie Rights and Film Hub that they do right by you, but it's still an 80-20 split or a 50-50 split and things like that. But Tubi, I think people get it twisted because even rappers used to say, "Man, I'm gonna do some shit so hot, the radio gonna have to come to me." And it's like, no, no, they don't. They're making money off of commercials. They don't have time for some broke ass rapper or some broke ass filmmaker and shit. All they're gonna do is they're gonna continue to help you make money on your streaming by allowing you to be on their service, because they're owned by Fox. I think Fox bought the thing for like maybe a bill or half a bill a handful of years ago, and now it's up. Now it's worth 3.5 to 4.5 billion. So they're making a killing off of it. But this is just my take: is that they're never going to come looking for us, just like Netflix. They're never going to come looking for you.
But would they come after? I mean, would they come for your distributor? Like, if your movie is making, I mean, if your movie is fucking getting all these fucking millions and millions of views, will your distributor contact you and say, "Hey, Chad, we need a part two," or no?
That would be cool. I've never had it happen because I haven't made those kind of numbers. But
Okay.
I would imagine, let's just say, if in a quarter you did like 200 grand or something absurd like
Mm-hmm.
that, and of course that company's taking 20% of that, so that's what, 40 grand. So you make about 160. So they would probably, either send you an email and say thanks for paying our light bill or well done, but the beauty of some of these distributors is that they send out a PDF with transparency showing you what all the other movies in their catalog are doing. So I've noticed in some of those that the urban movies are the ones where the stream money is really, really good. That's why the boys in Detroit are killing it. That's why folks in Houston and Atlanta
Atlanta.
are just
Yep.
spitting movies out faster than they can get them into the computer and stuff. So it's in a perfect world, but it's the minute the weird thing, you brought up Sloppy Seconds, and there's another movie called Please. The
Please is getting a lot of views right now, and I haven't
right,
seen it yet.
right, me either. But I think the beauty of everything is that the black female market, the movie fan, the black female fan, is finally getting served the way they've wanted, apparently, and they are eating up these movies. Right, they are loving these based on a book and based on a true story,
But
and
Chad,
all
but
these
Chad,
lifetime Hallmark movies, but just a little more Tubi in it.
but Chad, what does that say? Jesus, I'm gonna get myself in trouble. That's a,
Don't do
hold
it.
on, let me stop. No, okay. What does that say? Because like a movie like Sloppy Seconds, I understand what that movie's about, and no woman should be watching that movie. You know what I mean? In my brain, it's degrading to women, right? But I'm in these 2B groups and so forth, like you are, and women are like, "Oh my god, this movie's getting me horny." I'm like, "What? What?" And like some of these movies are definitely degrading, especially these black movies. They're absolutely degrading to black women, and black women get off on them. What the fuck is that about?
I just believe that some of them it's therapeutic because they go, oh well, shit. I've been in that kind of situation before, and so I can relate. Then there's some people that are like, thank God I've never been in that situation. Yeah. And there's some who are just freaks, and that's cool too, because the world needs freaks, you know. So, um, I'm just see the weird thing is the first the an opportunist mind would be it's time to go make a movie just like those movies. But the artist in somebody will say the minute you try to emulate and make it just like it, there'll be a new fad. They'll be moving on to something more interesting because that shit's played out and it takes X amount of months to even get your movie made, let alone distributed and finally on
Yeah.
TV. So it's a full year type of thing. I know some people that'll go, oh, I can make a movie in a month, and then in 2 months it's on Tubi, and then in 6 months from hitting it. Well, that's still 8 to 10 months. And if you're making a movie in a month, it's probably shit anyway, and so the shelf
Yeah.
life's not. So I don't know how many people are going to dig Bloody Frickin' Mary, but I'm just hoping it gets more than It's one of those that people are like, let's get a blunt, a 40, and some raw cookie dough and watch this bitch again. So,
This is definitely, yeah. This is definitely a. I didn't watch it high, which is unfortunate. But this is definitely a movie that you watch high. Like this is a great. Yeah, this is a great movie. This is a great high dick humor, gory horror movie. This is, yeah. If you want dick humor with wheat jokes in it, some scantily clad chicks, and yeah, and with some gore in it. I mean, there you go. This is right up your alley. This is, I don't know. I mean,
I would
I would
love
say,
to. I would love to get it. I think its real crowd is middle school and high schoolers, but I don't know how to get to them. Because they'll be
you
the ones
can't.
quoting it. They'll be quoting the shit out of it. Because I
Yes,
grew
this
up
is.
with Rockies and I was 12 and shit. So it's
I would watch it. I would have watched this movie in high school. I really would have. I would have watched this. Yes, what you said. This is a high school movie.
there.
This is a high school movie that high school students should be watching. But,
How do you get to high schoolers so they even know it exists? You know what I mean? Like,
without getting arrested,
that's where I end up doing time, just saying, "Hey, excuse me, watch my movie. Uh, Come with me, sir."
Chad, where can everyone find you, my friend?
Oh, it's easy. It's just Chad Hendricks on Facebook or Bloody Frickin' Mary on Facebook, Instagram. Those are the easy places. And Tubi's easy too. If you just type in Chad Hendricks, um, 8 movies will pop up. That one movie ain't my shit. I don't even know if my
Which was
name
that?
in it or a Hendrix in it, but it just pops up. But it's pretty easy to find me and all. If the bill collectors can find me, then somebody who likes what I've done and what I'm doing, and all can do it too.
Well, everyone, listen, shoot over to Tubi. It is the 2023 Horror Rim Best Horror Comedy, Indie Horror Comedy.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it, and I'm pretty sure you will too. Chad, it's been an absolute blast having you back on, man. Listen, you're more than welcome to come on to promote any of your dick humor movies in the future.
You're the best, man. I appreciate it. Joke.
No problem, my friend. All right, everyone. Well, thank you for coming to the Horror Room. I'm Travis Spurs. I'll see you guys next time. Take care.